a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. O.J. Simpson. Orenthal James, O.J. Simpson, nicknamed The Juice, is an American former running back, broadcaster, actor, advertising spokesman, and convicted robber. Simpson attended the University of Southern California, where he played football for the USC Trojans and won the Heisman Trophy in 1968. He played professionally as a running back in the NFL for 11 seasons, primarily with the Buffalo Bills from 1969 to 1977. He also played for the San Francisco 49ers from 1978 to 1979. In 1973, he became the first NFL player to rush for more than 2,000 yards in a season. He holds the record for the single-season yards per game average, which stands at 143.1. He is the only player to ever rush for over 2,000 yards in the 14-game regular season NFL format. Simpson was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1983 and the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1985. After retiring from football, he began new careers in acting and football broadcasting. In 1994, Simpson was arrested and charged with the murders of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. He was acquitted by a jury after a lengthy and internationally publicized trial. The families of the victims subsequently filed a civil suit against him, and in 1997 a civil court awarded a $33.5 million judgment against him for the victims' wrongful deaths. In 2007, Simpson was arrested in Las Vegas, Nevada, and charged with the felonies of armed robbery and kidnapping. In 2008, he was convicted and sentenced to 33 years imprisonment, with a minimum of 9 years without parole. He served his sentence at the Lovelock Correctional Center near Lovelock, Nevada, on July 20, 2017. Simpson was granted parole. He was eligible for release from prison on October 1, 2017, and was released shortly after midnight on that date. Early life. Born and raised in San Francisco, California, Simpson is the son of Eunice, a hospital administrator, and Jimmy Lee Simpson, a chef and bank custodian. His father was a well-known drag queen in the San Francisco Bay Area. Later in life, Jimmy Simpson announced that he was gay. He died of AIDS. Simpson's maternal grandparents were from Louisiana, and his aunt gave him the name Orenthal, which she said was the name of a French actor she liked. Simpson has one brother, Melvin Leon Truman Simpson, one living sister, Shirley Simpson Baker, and one deceased sister, Carmelita Simpson Durio. As a child, Simpson developed rickets and wore braces on his legs until the age of 5, giving him his bow-legged stance. His parents separated in 1952, and Simpson was raised by his mother. Simpson grew up in San Francisco and lived with his family in the housing projects of the Potrero Hill neighborhood. In his early teenage years, he joined a street gang called the Persian Warriors and was briefly incarcerated at the San Francisco Youth Guidance Center. Future wife Marguerite, his childhood sweetheart, described Simpson as really an awful person then. After his third arrest, a meeting with Willie Mays during which the baseball star encouraged Simpson to avoid trouble helped persuade him to reform. At Galileo High School in San Francisco, Simpson played for the school football team, the Galileo Lions. College football and athletics career. Although Simpson was an all-city football player at Galileo, his mediocre high school grades prevented him from attracting the interest of many college recruiters. After a childhood friend's injury in the Vietnam War influenced Simpson to stay out of the military, he enrolled at City College of San Francisco in 1965. He played football both ways as a running back and defensive back, and was named to the Junior College All-American team as a running back. City College won the Prune Bowl against Long Beach State, and many colleges sought Simpson as a transfer student for football. Simpson chose to attend the University of Southern California, which he had admired as a young football fan, over the University of Utah, and played running back for head coach John Mackay in 1967 and 1968. Simpson led the nation in rushing both years under Mackay. In 1967 with 1,543 yards and 13 touchdowns, and in 1968 with 1,880 yards on 383 carries. As a junior in 1967, Simpson was a close runner-up in the Heisman Trophy balloting to quarterback Gary Beban of UCLA, in that year's Victory Bell rivalry game between the teams. USC was down by 6 points in the fourth quarter with under 11 minutes remaining. On their own 36, USC backup quarterback Toby Page called an audible on 3rd and 7. Simpson's 64-yard touchdown run tied the score, and the extra point provided a 21-20 lead, which was the final score. This was the biggest play in what is regarded as one of the greatest football games of the 20th century. Another dramatic touchdown in the same game is the subject of the Arnold Freeberg oil painting, O.J. Simpson Breaks for Daylight. Simpson also won the Walter Camp Award in 1967 and was a two-time Consensus All-American. Simpson was an aspiring track athlete. In 1967 he lost a 100 meters race at Stanford against the then British record holder Menzies Campbell, prior to playing football at Southern Cal. He ran in the USC Sprint Relay Quartet that broke the world record in the 4x110-yard relay at the NCAA Track Championships in Provo, Utah on June 17, 1967. As a senior in 1968, Simpson rushed for 1,709 yards and 22 touchdowns in the regular season, earning the Heisman Trophy, the Maxwell Award, and Walter Camp Award. He still holds the record for the Heisman's largest margin of victory, defeating runner-up Leroy Keys by 1,750 points. In the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day, USC faced top-ranked Ohio State. Simpson ran for 171 yards, including an 80-yard touchdown run in a 27-16 loss. Buffalo Bills. The first selection 1969 AFL-NFL Common Draft was held by the AFL's Buffalo Bills, after finishing 112-1 in 1968. They took Simpson, but he demanded what was then the largest contract in professional sports history, $650,000 over 5 years. This led to a standoff with Bills owner Alf Wilson, as Simpson threatened to become an actor and skip professional football. Eventually, Wilson agreed to pay Simpson. Simpson entered professional football with high expectations, but struggled in his first 3 years, averaging only 622 yards per season. Bills coach John Raunch, not wanting to build an offense around one running back, assigned Simpson to do blocking and receiving duties at the expense of running the ball. In 1971, Raunch resigned as head coach, and the Bills brought in Harvey Johnson. Despite Johnson devising a new offense for Simpson, Simpson was still ineffective that year. After the 1971 season, the Bills fired Johnson and brought in Lou Saban as head coach. Unlike Raunch, Saban made Simpson the centerpiece of the Bills' offense. In 1972, Simpson rushed for over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, gaining a league-leading total of 1,251 yards. In 1973, Simpson became the first player to break the highly coveted 2,000-yard rushing mark, with 2,003 total rushing yards and 12 touchdowns. Simpson broke the mark during the last game of the season against the New York Jets with a 7-yard rush. That same game also saw Simpson break Jim Brown's single-season rushing record of 1,863 yards. For his performance, Simpson won that year's NFL MVP award and Burt Bell Award. While other players have broken the 2,000-yard mark since Simpson, his record was established in a time when the NFL only had 14 games per season, as opposed to the 16-game seasons that began in 1978. Simpson gained more than 1,000 rushing yards for each of his next 3 seasons. He didn't lead the league in rushing in 1974, but did cross the 1,000-yard barrier despite an injury. In Game 11 of 1974, he passed Ken Willard as the rushing leader among active players, a position he maintained until his retirement over 5 seasons later. Simpson also made his first and only playoff appearance during the 1974 season. In a divisional game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Simpson rushed for 49 yards on 15 attempts and caught a touchdown pass, but the Bills lost the game 32-14. Simpson won the rushing title again in 1975, rushing for 1,817 yards and 16 touchdowns. Simpson also had a career-high 426 receiving yards and 7 receiving touchdowns that season. Simpson once again led the league in rushing in 1976, rushing for 1,503 yards and 8 touchdowns. Simpson had the best game of his career during that season's Thanksgiving game against the Detroit Lions on November 25. In that game, Simpson rushed for a then-record 273 yards on 29 attempts and scored 2 touchdowns. Despite Simpson's performance, the Bills would lose the game 27-14. Simpson played in only 7 games in 1977, as his season was cut short by injury. San Francisco 49ers. Before the 1978 season, the Bills traded Simpson to his hometown San Francisco 49ers for a series of draft picks. Simpson played in San Francisco for 2 seasons, rushing for 1,053 yards and 4 touchdowns. His final NFL game was on December 16, 1979, a 31-21 loss to the Atlanta Falcons at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. His final play was a 10-yard run on 3rd and 10th for a first down. Career summary: Simpson gained 11,236 rushing yards, placing him second on the NFL's all-time rushing list when he retired. He now stands at 21st. He was named NFL Player of the Year in 1973, and played in 6 Pro Bowls. He was the only player in NFL history to rush for over 2,000 yards in a 14-game season, and he's the only player to rush for over 200 yards in 6 different games in his career, from 1972 to 1976. Simpson averaged 1,540 rushing yards per season, 5.1 yards per carry, and he won the NFL rushing title 4 times. Simpson was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1985, his first year of eligibility. Simpson played in only 1 playoff game during his 11-season Hall of Fame career, a 1974 divisional playoff between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Simpson was held to 49 rushing yards, 3 receptions for 37 yards, and 1 touchdown, and the Bills lost 14-32 to the team, which went on to win Super Bowl IX. Simpson acquired the nickname Juice as a play on OJ, a common abbreviation for orange juice. Juice is also a colloquial synonym for electricity or electrical power, and hence a metaphor for any powerful entity. The Bills' offensive line at Simpson's peak was nicknamed the Electric Company. Acting career: even before his retirement from the NFL, Simpson embarked on a film career with parts in films such as the television miniseries Roots, and the dramatic motion pictures The Klansman, The Towering Inferno, The Cassandra Crossing and Capricorn 1. In 1979, he started his own film production company, Orenthal Productions, which dealt mostly in made-for-TV fare such as the family-oriented Goldie and the boxer films with Melissa Michelson, and Cocaine and Blue Eyes, the pilot for a proposed detective series on NBC. He also starred in the comedic Back to the Beach and the Naked Gun trilogy. Besides his acting career, Simpson worked as a commentator for Monday Night Football and the NFL on NBC. He also appeared in the audience of Saturday Night Live during its 2nd season, and hosted an episode during its 3rd season. Frogmen. Simpson starred in the UN-televised 2-hour-long film pilot for Frogmen, an 8-team-like adventure series that Warner Bros. Television completed in 1994, a few months before the murders. NBC had not yet decided whether to order the series when Simpson's arrest cancelled the project. While searching his home, the police obtained a videotaped copy of the pilot as well as the script and dailies. Although the prosecution investigated reports that Simpson, who played the leader of a group of former United States Navy SEALs, received a fair amount of military training, including use of a knife, for Frogmen. And there is a scene in which he holds a knife to the throat of a woman. This material was not introduced as evidence during the trial. NBC executive Warren Littlefield said in July 1994 that the network would probably never air the pilot if Simpson were convicted. If he were acquitted, however. One television journalist speculated that Frogmen would probably be on the air before the NBC Peacock could unfurl its plume. Most pilots that are 2 hours long are aired as TV movies whether or not they are ordered as series, because, as the Los Angeles Times later reported, the appetite for all things O.J. appeared insatiable. During the trial, Warner Bros. And NBC estimated that a gigantic Super Bowl-like television audience would have watched the Frogmen film. Co-star Evan Handler said that the studio's decision not to air it or release it on home video and forego an estimated $14 million in profits was just about the only proof you have that there is some dignity in the advertising and television business. Juiced. In 2006, Simpson starred in his own improv, hidden camera prank TV show, Juiced. Typical of the genre, Simpson would play a prank on everyday people while secretly filming them, and at the end of each prank, he would shout, "You've been juiced." Less typical, each episode opened with topless strippers dancing around Simpson, who is dressed as a pimp. He sings his own rap song, which includes the lyrics, "Don't you know Terry's no stopping the juice? When I'm on the floor I'm like a lion on the loose. Better shoot me with a tranquilizer dart. Don't be stupid, I'm not a Simpson named Bart." In one episode, Simpson is at a used car lot in Las Vegas where he attempts to sell his white Bronco. A bullet hole in the front of the SUV is circled with his autograph, and he pitches it to a prospective buyer by saying that if they ever get into some trouble and have to get away, it has escapability. In another sketch called Bingoj, Simpson pretends to be having an affair with another man's girlfriend. Later he transforms into an old white man whose dying wish is to call a game of bingo. Juiced aired as a one-time special on pay-per-view television and was later released on DVD. Endorsements. In 1975, People magazine described Simpson as the first black athlete to become a bona fide lovable media superstar. Chuck Barnes helped him form business relationships with Chevrolet and ABC early in his career. By 1971, New York wrote that Simpson was already wealthy enough to retire this week if he wanted to. His amiable persona and natural charisma landed Simpson numerous endorsement deals. From 1975, he appeared in advertisements with the Hertz rental car company, in whose commercials he was depicted running through airports, serving as an embodiment of speed. Simpson estimated that the very successful campaign raised the recognition rate among people he met from 30% to 90%. He was also a longtime spokesman for Pioneer Chicken and owned 2 franchises, one of which was destroyed during the 1992 Los Angeles riots, as well as Honey Baked Ham, the Px Corporation, and Calistoga Water Company's line of Napa Naturals soft drinks. He also appeared in comic book ads for Dingo cowboy boots. Family life. At age 19 on June 24, 1967, Simpson married Marguerite L. Whitley. Together, they had 3 children, Arnell L. Simpson, Jason L. Simpson, and Aaron LaShawn Simpson. In August 1979, Aaron drowned in the family's swimming pool. Simpson met Nicole Brown in 1977, while she was working as a waitress at the nightclub, The Daisy. Although still married to his first wife, Simpson began dating Brown. Simpson and Marguerite divorced in March 1979. Brown and Simpson were married on February 2, 1985, 5 years after his retirement from professional football. The couple had 2 children, Sydney Brooke Simpson and Justin Ryan Simpson. The marriage lasted 7 years, during which Simpson pleaded no contest to spousal abuse in 1989. Brown filed for divorce on February 25, 1992, citing irreconcilable differences. In 1993, after the divorce, Brown and Simpson made an attempt at reconciliation, but according to Sheila Weller, they were a dramatic, fractious, mutually obsessed couple before they married, after they married, after they divorced in 1992, and after they reconciled. Criminal trial for murder. On June 12, 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were found stabbed to death outside Nicole's condominium in the Brentwood area of Los Angeles. Simpson was a person of interest in their murders. Simpson did not turn himself in, and on June 17 he became the object of a low-speed pursuit in a white 1993 Ford Bronco SUV owned and driven by Al Cowlings. TV stations interrupted coverage of the 1994 NBA Finals to broadcast the incident live, with an estimated audience of 95 million people. The event was described as the most famous ride on American shores since Paul Revere's. The pursuit, arrest, and trial were among the most widely publicized events in American history. The trial, often characterized as the trial of the century, because of its international publicity similar to that of Sacco and Vanzetti and the Lindbergh kidnapping, culminated after 11 months on October 3, 1995. When the jury rendered a verdict of not guilty for the 2 murders, an estimated 100 million people nationwide tuned in to watch or listen to the verdict announcement. Following Simpson's acquittal, no additional arrests or convictions related to the murders were made. Immediate reaction to the verdict was notable for its division along racial lines. A poll of Los Angeles County residents showed that most African Americans there felt that justice had been served by the not guilty verdict, while the majority of whites and Latinos expressed an opinion that it had not. O.J. Simpson's integrated defense counsel included Johnny Cochran, Robert Kardashian, Robert Shapiro, and F. Lee Bailey. Marcia Clark was the lead prosecutor for the state of California. According to a 2016 poll, 83% of white Americans and 57% of black Americans believe Simpson was guilty of the murders. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?